Hey, heads up. We talk about serious, sometimes uncomfortable shit on this podcast. But don't worry, hopefully you're going to laugh your ass off.
Coping chaos.
Thanks for joining us for Coping Chaos, a podcast about coping with the chaos of daily life while also navigating the uncertainties of mental illness. I'm Leah Williams.
And I'm KJ Servey. We're not medical professionals in any way, but we like to say we're not experts, but experts in our own mental health. We want to have a conversation with anyone who's been affected by mental illness in any way.
Exactly. Well, 10 minutes ago I was vomiting and now I'm feeling great. So
Yay.
I had a headache and I was like so sick and then now it's gone. So yay.
Modern medicine and rest.
Yeah, that's the key. And not watching my daughter's
Oh,
FaceTime videos because she's like, hey, and I'm like, okay, now I'm really going to puke.
she was showing the dog running around.
Yeah,
and
but
shaking.
it's like worst camera ever. It's just I'm like, I can't even see the dog.
I know.
But
It did blend in with the
yeah.
Well, I'm excited. We'll probably take a break and go kind of explore a really cool, weird antique shop.
Oh, yeah, I'm
So,
excited. I love that kind of stuff. That's right
Yeah,
up my
so-
alley.
Yeah, we try to go to like thrift stores every time or something like that. Just give us a break. And
Yeah, well, now I'm on the lookout for, stuff for our sister, but also Scooby-Doo. So if you see
Oh.
anything Scooby-Doo, I'm totally into that right now. So I
I
don't
bet we
know
will.
why, but
I bet we will.
Yeah.
This one is crazy. Maybe we'll take pictures and share on our Patreon.
yeah, we should.
Yeah,
that would be fun. That would be fun. All right. Well, today's episode, we are discussing the daily struggle of trying to distribute our limited energy between all of the chaos in our lives bring.
Yeah, for sure.
Whether it's mental, emotional, or physical energy, we use energy all day, and most people start pretty the same every day.
Yeah.
So I think we were going to start just with a story. I'll let you go ahead and go first.
Yeah, so I'm going to share kind of what I try to do and I know is best for me. Planning, I think I'm going to say that through the whole thing. Planning and routine. I think in another episode, it was really cool. We came up with prepare and repair.
Yeah.
And that's, I rest before and I rest after. And I like that, prepare
And that's
repair.
exactly how it is.
And so I make sure I rest before I plan. Again, this is best case scenario.
Yes, yeah, because it
And,
doesn't always work out that way.
No. I rest before I plan out, I think I talked about this last time, water, mobility device, medication, things like that will help me make it through whatever's going to happen.
Exactly.
And then the repair part is coming home, going straight to bed if I need heat or meds or electrolytes,
Yeah, reminding yourself to eat.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, food. I didn't put that one on
Yeah,
there.
see? Yeah.
So recently, this is kind of an example of me not doing it.
Oh, yep, I have that.
But recently, my dog passed away. We had to go to the animal hospital at like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. And by the time we got home, it was 4 o'clock in the
Oof.
morning. And then, I did crash. But then I just woke up. I crashed probably around 4 and then woke up around 6. And then Leia had texted, I'm at the bus station.
I'm
on my way. And I was excited because I love when we get together and do these podcasts. But also, I knew I needed a distraction.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
I can be sad during all this. It's like I don't need to just sit around and be sad.
Yes.
And I know what we did was the right thing, and it sucks dealing with the grief, but distraction is important to me. And I know Leia and I laugh all the time. And like we said, it may not be the best medicine, but it's how we cope.
It helps.
Yeah, for sure.
I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for laughter.
No,
for sure.
100%.
So,
We were focusing on recording episodes, making our TikTok videos.
yes.
And then basically we were doing the videos and then we went straight to my husband's band was playing a show. When we go with him, because again, I think Leia mentioned last time, we don't want to drive down there.
Yeah.
So we went with him, but they have load in early, so they have to get there early. So
yeah.
we got there and it was packed and we had to stand.
I was shocked at how packed, but I didn't realize it was where everybody was going after the rally.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. It was funny because we were standing for a while and a really nice gentleman, I think it's because he saw my cane, he's like, oh, those 2 seats at the
Oh, yeah,
bar
the
just
bar.
emptied up. So
Yeah, that was so nice.
we sat there and then we watched some people leave from a table that had 4 stools. So
We're
we
like snagging it. Thank
hopped
you.
over there. And then later we saw a smaller table that was up front.
Oh, yeah.
And so we popped over there.
Yeah, that was meant to be ours for sure.
Yeah, because it really worked really well. Sitting for a long period of time, those tall, hard stools
Ugh.
are so bad.
Yeah, and like you can rest your feet a little on them, but
Yeah.
there's no back support
No, and
whatsoever.
My tailbone and my hips
Ugh.
are all spread.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard. Sitting too much, standing too much, laying too much. It's like...
Yeah, it sucks. You have to just always be shifting position.
Yeah. And then, yeah, so Lucas's band was 3rd on the bill, I think.
Yeah.
And so, we got to rest.
Yeah.
And then, he came on and I had to go stand up.
Oh, yeah.
And dance and headbang and,
And your energy got me going too.
Oh,
So,
good.
and I just kept going even
I
after
know.
you sat down.
I
I was like,
know.
I'm still going.
And I definitely could feel my body and I'm like, I don't care. I'm here to support Lucas, but I actually really love their band. It's really cool.
The vibe and everything,
Yeah.
just everything about it helps renew your soul almost.
Yeah.
It feels like.
And you know that they get along really well. They work really well. I think you can tell sometimes when there's friction in
Yes,
bands.
yeah,
So,
I agree.
so yeah, it just all feels really good. And I was dancing like crazy. And this is one of my examples that sometimes I think it's worth it.
Yeah,
like-
you're overdoing the energy.
Yeah.
And then how are you feeling the next day now?
yeah, I mean, I'm okay.
But you
I'm just-
actually did less this time than the last time. 'Cause
Yeah.
I remember last time you were really hurting after because you were up for all the songs.
Yeah, I was.
And you were in pain the next day.
Yeah. I mean, I'm so used to pain that I'm
Yeah.
like, yeah, I probably am in pain and we're going to go walk around.
I
and do
told
stuff.
Ryan that I'm like, after a while, when you feel the same pain, it's like it's there, but it numbs. It's not numb. You're disassociating.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
It
You
is.
disassociate
Yeah.
from it because you have to.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I always visualize it. We talk about I'm a visual person.
yeah.
I always visualize it like it's just over here in a cupboard next to my head. Like,
Oh, that's interesting.
and sometimes it opens up and I can feel it really a lot. And we also went out to eat afterwards. So it's like
which I
another
loved.
thing.
I loved that little diner.
I
It's
know.
so cute.
It was a fun little diner that's open 24 hours and it's really small. And so as we were leaving, it was like packed.
Oh yeah.
People coming from like sports things. And
Well, I heard one girl. She's like, "There's a party of 15." I'm like, "Fit? Where are they gonna sit? Like what?" She's like, "We can stand outside." I'm like, "Wow, okay."
yeah. So what are you thinking?
Well, I was thinking at first I was just gonna go through and kind of how you did just tell about the day, but then I was like, well, it's kind of the same. I have to prepare and
Yeah.
all that. So I'll just share a story that I thought of randomly. But this is when I was packing to move here.
Okay.
Because like I had said, my husband came first and was here for like 2 months before I moved here because he had to come right away for his job. And
Right.
so I did all the packing and getting rid of everything, which was craziness. I was slowly giving away
Right.
things, slowly getting rid of things, slowly going through things. But then at the end, when, you plan it as best you can, but at the end, I overexerted so badly. I
Right.
just kept going because I had to finish by a certain time and pack it all up, and I was really stressed. So I depleted all my energy, but I was still trying to keep going because I had just rented a car with all this stuff in it. I dropped it off the stuff at the storage place.
Yeah.
And then I was driving to the airport.
Okay.
But the Portland airport. So that's like 2 hours away from where I was.
Oh, yeah.
And I probably got about 20 minutes in and I felt completely ill, like
Oh, no.
super sick. Yeah, terrible. And so I pulled off and I'm just uncontrollably vomiting and
Oh, man.
heaving and I can't drive. I ran out of energy. I have
Yeah.
none left. Like there's none. I can't do anything. And I'm like freaking out because I have a plane I have to catch still. I have a lot of things I still have to do.
Mhm.
And I'm like, what do I do? What do I do? Luckily, Amanda is my lifesaver.
Oh, good.
And I called her and she drove with her friend all the way over so that she could drive my car and her friend could drive back. You know what I
Oh,
mean? And then
yeah.
they drove me to the airport and helped me go through the airport
Oh, that's so
stuff
awesome.
because we had a lot of extra stuff because I had a child with autism traveling. So you
Yeah.
have to do like extra things. And
Yeah.
go through a different process than other people, just so that they're not overwhelmed,
Yeah,
because I
yeah.
didn't know how Sean would react with any of
Yeah.
that. And luckily, Portland Airport has an amazing, they have, this is a side tangent, but they
No,
have
but
this amazing sensory room, and they're really big about, like, they give you a special necklace so that they can, if he's roaming and they see him alone, they know he's autistic. We need to,
yeah. Yeah,
help
yeah.
him. And just like, there's a lot of things that made me
That's
feel
cool.
so
Yeah.
secure. But anyway, but that's an example of where I pushed myself and knew, like, that I didn't have the energy, but I had to do it
Yeah.
to the point that I literally couldn't do anything anymore. And it was horrible because I felt like a failure. I felt like a horrible
Yeah.
person, all those things that we
Yeah.
do. But that's a big example of why I now am very vigilant with how I'm expelling my energy, because I don't want that to happen again in such an important time where my kids are there,
Yeah.
because it's scary when your children
Yeah.
are involved with that. So,
Well, that's one good thing about having a big family, lots
yeah,
of siblings.
yes,
that's
I'm
awesome.
so grateful, and I
Yeah.
can't even name the amount of times Amanda has come through for me. She's
Yeah.
amazing. She really is.
Yeah.
But that's what makes me think, like, it's like I was saying, this is like a video game. It's an energy bar. If you look at it, you can look at it like a pie or however you want to look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
But I think of like the game Stardew Valley. I don't know if anybody out there has played this game. But you start at the beginning of every day in Stardew Valley because you're like a farmer and a fisherman. You can just do a bunch of random
Yeah.
things, but every single thing you do takes energy. And
Yeah.
you only have a certain amount that you start with. And so you have to decide, what things am I going to do to make this
Oh, cool.
successful before running out of energy. And then once you're out of energy, that you either have to have special like potions or something
Yeah.
for energy, or you're just out of luck and
Yeah.
you just don't do stuff that you needed to get done and your
Yeah.
plants die or whatever.
That sounds like me.
But yeah, but looking at it, I'm like, that's exactly how I view it for my brain, is like, I see it like a video game.
Yeah.
So,
Well, unlike a video game, we don't start every day with the same amount,
yeah, that's true. Our
and-
energy bar is not at 100
Yeah,
every day.
That's what, when we have all these, mental, physical, emotional, I don't ever think I have 100% energy.
No,
Like,
definitely not. But
but-
that's because like depression itself chemically gives you fatigue. So
Yeah.
like you're already starting tired, and then when you have some event in the night or anything that could
Yeah,
have
yeah.
happened, you're definitely starting different. So
Yeah, but I do like that example because, I have to decide, am I going to put my energy towards that, or
Yeah.
not? And like, oh, I know I'm the only one home, and so I'm going to have to take the dog out multiple times.
yeah.
So I got to rest because, it seems like such a simple task, but getting up and because
Going
I'm
and
trying to
doing it.
rest,
Yeah.
and so, I'm always calculating, and
And that's exhausting too.
yeah,
So
and I think like the visual is so nice, like whether it's the energy bar or the pizza, like again, I don't know, I always talk about how visual I am, and it helps me understand.
yeah, there's only a certain amount of pieces
Yeah.
of pizza, and you have to decide who you're going to feed for the day.
Yeah.
Who's the most hungry, I guess.
And
But-
many years ago when I first was like diagnosed with Lyme disease, and I, was in lots of support groups, and a thing that was going around then and still now was called the spoon theory. And
yes, I did hear about that before.
yeah, it talks about you start, whatever amount you start with, and then different things cost certain amount of spoons. And yeah, there's some things with that like really resonated, and then some things I'm like, oh, I think it's a little different. And I think that's what's cool is you can pick what you relate to. And,
Yeah.
you're a gamer, and
Yeah.
even though I'm not, I really like that because I know. I've played games in my life,
Yeah.
so. But I do like that visual. I remember in one of our early episodes, you described something you were going through as you were trapped, like a rat in a cage or something. You're trapped. And I'm like, oh, that really helps me
To
feel
see
your
it
emotions.
better. Yeah.
So
But that's the best way, because everybody learns differently, whether it's visually, kinetically,
yeah.
auditorily, or all,
Yeah.
really.
Oh, yeah.
I would say one of the biggest problems for me is disrupted sleep, because, like we had talked about, we take a melatonin
Yeah.
and I'll get like 3 great first hours of sleep. And then I always wake up. I always wake up and I'm like, should I take another melatonin? But I'm like, if I take it this time, I'm going to sleep too long. Or, there's just all these things. But that disrupted sleep every night takes its toll.
Yeah.
And when you're in your deepest sleep, you're getting your best sleep, but you don't get into your deepest sleep right away. So it takes time to do that. And if you can't get into that deep of sleep, then you just are in this like limbo land of daydreaming, but it's kind of like if you were just to lay there with your eyes closed. It's helpful, but it's not helpful.
Right. I do that so much.
I would do that especially when I'm sick but especially when I'm tired and I can't sleep. I will leave it for hours with my eyes closed thinking at least I'm not using the energy of my eyes. Or
Lucas always is like, oh, I thought you were asleep that whole time. And I'm like, no.
Yeah.
And then there's sometimes
because I won't move because I'm trying to not. Yeah. I'm trying to like trick myself that I'm asleep now. I'm asleep. I'm sleeping.
Yeah. And there's times where like I am falling asleep and he'll be like, oh, and then I'm like, I'm not sleeping. There's that too.
Oh,
like when we're
yeah,
watching
I've
shows
done that. Oh, I've done that. Yeah.
But there's so many ways that having mental illnesses take more energy to complete every task.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, it puts you in that constant fight or flight state, too. Yeah. So you're constantly using that feeling of just your heart's racing faster. That takes more energy. You breathing more. That takes more energy.
Right.
Just physically, that's exhausting.
Yeah. And I'm like, I have to be able to focus on all parts. It's like, what is this task? Can I focus on it all? And then I have this all or nothing mentality. If I can't do it all, then do I just quit and not do it?
What's the point when I could be putting my energy in something else I will finish?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then like preparing for all outcomes, I feel like that takes so much energy. I'm like, what if this happens? What if this happens?
Exactly.
I've got to be prepared if that happens.
If I thought of it that it could happen and I don't prepare for it, I will, and it does happen, I am so mad at myself because I'm like, dude, and I do that. I get upset. I start getting manic. Really bothers me. I can't. But also I get physically ill. Like when my energy is done, like I was saying with the car, I just started vomiting uncontrollable. I'll just start projectile vomiting like I'm possessed or something. I don't know. But my energy is just so gone and I pushed myself so far beyond it that I actually have no more control. It's
totally
so frustrating.
I don't know. When I'm trying to complete tasks, I'm judging myself, second guessing.
Yeah.
Am I capable? No, you can't do that, And then,
that takes so much energy because you're doing the physical thing, but you're also mentally exerting energy thinking that. So that's double energy that you're using on top of not even having a full energy bar at the beginning of the day. I don't know. It actually makes me think because we talk a lot about work and things like that, and one reason that work is so hard for me is because like if I'm going to work at 3:00 that day, I'm going to be trying to think about it all day, rest before it because I don't know what kind of energy I'm going to use at work or like how much energy is going to take to mask successfully at work. Like there's just so many aspects to that's another reason work is just
I know. Well, and then like we have mental energy, emotional energy, physical energy, and I really feel like they work together or against our energy bar.
Yes.
It's like one hits the other and, it's like
brings
dominoes.
them each other down or up, just depending on what it is.
Yeah. If you're having good pain day, you're like, oh, it's not so bad. Oh, I'm kind of happier. I can get more done. So, But most of the time for me, it's the opposite. And I'm trying not to be negative, but...
I think of it like when I'm really depressed and I'm really upset, it makes me not do things, which in turn makes it so physically I'm not getting exercise, which in turn is making it so I'm also not eating healthily because... And so all of those things combined are just dragging me down and making my energy deplete even more because of all of that. So...
Yeah. It's both ways. Like if I'm in pain, then I'm really upset or, and I can't do things that I want to do. And then I'm crying. So it's all those. Or it's the other, like I'm depressed and I can't move. Yeah. And then I'm also in pain and then I'm judging myself and
exactly. Yeah. And then also like with the eating thing too, because I know we already talked about food and stuff, but eating is so difficult too, because it's like I understand completely that nutrition has a big part to do with your body. But when I'm completely exhausted and completely broke, I can't afford to eat healthy. Like to
Oh,
go out
no.
and eat a healthy meal is
Yeah.
pretty expensive when I can spend like $20 at McDonald's and get a bunch of burgers for all of us and we're good to go for
Yeah,
the
yeah.
night. So I feel like that also kind of makes it so that it's harder for me too. But
Yeah. Again, just like that, my mental energy is like the overthinking and the inner monologue. We talked about that
oh yeah.
recently, but it's just so exhausting. I think in another episode you talked about watching a movie and someone's just talking in your ear.
Exactly.
So you're multitasking and it's hard
and
to
it's like at
focus.
first you can do it, but when
Yeah.
it's constantly always happening,
Yeah.
you just want to rip your hair out. It's like, how can I pause one of these things? Because you can't.
Right. And then
But-
like when we first made this outline, we didn't put emotional, and you said that, and I'm like, oh yeah, if I'm
Because that's
angry,
a huge one. Yeah.
Yeah.
When I'm crying, that's
Yeah.
exhausting.
yeah, because if you're angry or crying, like when I'm angry, it's like, oh, you're ruminating, you're like, so you're not focused on anything else.
No,
Or
exactly.
you're anxious and you can't, everything goes away.
And that's when my time passes faster for myself, I feel like, because I'm just so in my head with
Yeah.
it. Energy is a big one just because, like, it pertains to everything. And honestly, I wish I had more energy. I'll see my son. I always dreamed that you could, like, just touch a child and get there. That
Yeah.
sounds really weird now that I'm saying it like that. But, like, you know what I mean? Like, I wish you could just transfer energy because I can practically feel it coming off of my son when
Oh,
he's
yeah.
jumping around. And I'm, like, laying there, like, gosh, can I just have like a tiny bit, just a sliver of it so that I can get up and clean this floor or something?
I've never seen him stop. Like,
no,
even
he
watching
never
TV,
does. He's jumping. He's
Yeah.
jumping and walking
Yeah.
always, which is why he eats so much.
Yeah.
He's always asking for food
Yeah.
because he's burning so many calories. But I'm just like, can I have some? It would help us both. I
Yeah,
feel like
yeah.
it would help us both if we could just share it. But,
Oh, well, speaking of that, like we have strategies,
Yeah.
we have to implement. I bet there's way more that we should, look into. But what kind of strategies do you use that even help just a little bit?
At first I could not think of anything. So I
Yeah.
look up online to see like if they have some suggestions, and I'm looking through them and I'm like laughing because I'm like, that sounds great. But like what the first one was like, accept limitations with no guilt. I'm like, okay.
Who could do that, man?
Or like is saying breaking up your chores so to make it easier. And I'm like, I would do
Oh.
that, but then I forget that I was in the middle of that. In fact, I already do that because I have ADHD. So I'm in
Yeah.
the middle of doing a chore and I'll go start a different chore and then I'll do another chore.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh yeah, I was washing the dishes and now I'm over here scrubbing the floor. Like, what the heck? But
Well, I mentioned it before, but like in the summer when I have more time here because I work at a school, I would go just rinse all the cups and put them in the dishwasher, and then maybe try to do the silverware.
and that's good, I think.
I know, but it didn't feel like I was doing it.
It wasn't satisfying.
right. And then even if I'm like, oh, somebody else finished it. I mean, they still saw that part of it was done, but I don't think
It
of it
doesn't
that way.
feel like an
No.
accomplishment to you.
No.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Well, a strategy that, I try to do, and I think you do too, is, as we've said, the planning and routine.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's really, really important.
I didn't
And-
think of that as a strategy. I always thought of that as my anxiety, but that is a strategy for helping my anxiety.
Yeah.
So that's naturally, I just do that. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
I
And,
didn't think of that.
again, we can never 100% use the good things. We have lots of bad days.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
screw it. I'm just going to go eat ice cream,
Yeah,
And-
I'm like when you're at the point where you're like, I want to die, you kind of stop caring about what you're eating because it's like I don't give a shit. Like I'm
know.
gonna eat what the fuck I
That's
want as
why I'm
long
at-
as I'm still here. We should all be happy, you know.
Exactly. I know, and I know my doctors don't like that, but yeah, I'm the biggest I've ever been, and I've been on lots of really good eating plans in the past, but I was like, screw it, I can't focus on that energy.
Well, yeah, because it takes way too much energy
Yeah.
for that, and on top of everything else, and especially if when I'm eating healthy, I'm still feeling the same. I think for me, because it
Yeah.
does take time, but for me, I sometimes feel like I just don't have the time. Like I just don't. So
Yeah, I have another, thing that I try to do, and that's like make sure, and we kind of talked about this in the hygiene, but make sure I have all my tools that help me close by, have my medicines, my heat or cold, my hydration, my mobility devices, have it accessible.
So that when it is there or something
Yeah.
is happening,
I don't have to use the energy to go up and go find it.
because you might not even do
No, I
that.
won't do it. I
Yeah,
won't
and
take
then you'll get worse.
Yeah, I won't take any Advil. I won't drink Gatorade or, and
Yeah.
that just keeps making it worse.
Yeah, you're snowballing and getting worse
Yep.
and worse. Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally get that. For me, I sit down a lot when I'm
Yeah.
doing things. So like, because I noticed before I used to stand a lot, but then I've had some leg issues. So now I sit a lot more. I interchange because I can't, like you were saying,
Yeah.
can't sit too long, can't stand too
Yep.
long, can't do anything too long. But I've noticed doing that actually has expelled a little less energy.
Mhm.
A few of the things I saw online were like, oh, you just need sleep, nutrition, and exercise. I'm like, oh, thanks. That's super
The
easy.
magical recipe.
Like, if you could just bottle that up for me,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
would be great. But no.
Well, one of the things that we really, have a hard time with is use your supports and ask
Ugh,
for help.
Asking for help is so hard. I love to help. I want
I
everyone
know.
to ask me for help, but
know.
like the other way around, it's like, and I can't. I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be
Oh,
annoying. I don't want to ask the one thing that might offend somebody
Yeah.
and I just didn't know it or anything like that.
And it's funny because as soon as I do ask, and then even if Lucas is just pausing to like think how he would do it or he was doing something else, and I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. You just always say to ask, so I was asking, but I don't need to, and he's like, no.
And then we apologize 100
Yeah,
times,
yeah.
of course.
Because I don't want to, be a burden or like, disturb what you're doing or,
But we also have to recognize they love us
I
and they
know.
want to help us as much as they like. If Ryan were to ask me for help with something, I jump at the chance to help him. I mean, I don't actually jump, but I think about jumping at the chance to help him. Just because. And I feel like if you always have that with the people that you love, if you always have that willingness, hopefully it will be reciprocated so that
Yeah.
it's more comfortable to ask those things. But
One other thing that I try to use is recognizing the signs, of pushing my energy. Sometimes, like I said, it's worth it, or I have no choice because I'm at work for 8 hours.
Yeah.
But sometimes I can be like, okay, I need to go sit down.
I'm
I
starting
need
to feel
drink
tiny
some
dizzy
water.
or
Yeah.
something like that.
So anything like that, yeah. Or
Sorry, I'm just throwing out examples that I'm like,
no,
stop
but
cutting
it's
in.
true. No, it's true. And then like my pain, like you said, your stress, your nausea. If I'm in pain, sometimes again with it in the cupboard, I don't realize I'm in pain until I'm starting to vomit and stuff. I'm
Yeah.
like going through why, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm in pain. So trying to recognize signs, it's hard because you are. Also, your brain has all those things going in it.
Yeah, and
but-
you're disassociating from the
Yeah.
pain so much that you don't notice it now until you actually get other physical symptoms, which
For sure.
is just horrible, but unfortunately it's what it is.
Yeah. Man, energy, like you said, it's just everywhere, everything.
Yeah.
And our lives are so busy these days. And I mean, you have young kids. I don't anymore, but still, I have, even though I have an 18-year-old, that she needs a lot of help.
Oh,
and then,
yeah. Well, and everything just takes energy too. Like things you wouldn't even think of.
Yeah.
And I can't even think of right now. But there's a lot of things that
Well-
I'm just like, I just don't have the energy for it.
Yeah.
I don't. In fact, my family hates to hear that from me sometimes because I'll just be like, I just don't have the energy. And so I'll be like, you never have the energy. And I'm like, well, I'm
Well,
sorry.
With my daughter who has autism, one thing is that they want to talk about what their interests are
Yeah.
all the time and want to show me. And I welcome it, of course, even if I have no idea what
They're
is.
talking about.
I'm trying and I'm asking, questions. But I do have to say sometimes, honey, I don't have the energy right now. And I'll be happy to do it another time. And sometimes when she gets upset, I'm like, can you remember how many times I do
Right.
listen and I do, work with you and stuff? And I think she gets it most of the time.
Sometimes
but,
you just have to explain it like that. That's a good way to do it.
and that's hard to advocate as
Yeah.
well.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially because, like, I'm always questioning, am I doing the right thing as a parent by making time for myself instead of, because
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have the same thing with all 3 kids. They
Yep.
all have things to tell me all the time,
Yeah.
which is exciting and fun. And then with Sean, it's mainly he just always says, like, I want a snack. I want to eat. I want
Yeah.
to do this. I
Yeah.
want this. So it's a little bit different, but the same. It's just constant
Yep. Yep.
auditory
Yeah.
stimulation where
Oh,
I'm
so
like,
much.
ah! But I have to remind myself that to be a good parent, to be a good person, I need to have that time to myself
Absolutely.
to redo, to put up my energy bar or
Yeah.
something. Because
Yeah.
even I feel like removing myself from this actually is a great strategy. Removing myself from a situation that's too stressful and just giving myself some
Oh,
time, that
Going
actually
step
helps my
outside or
energy to come back a
yeah.
tiny bit.
I didn't think about that, but that
so.
remove yourself, take a break.
Yeah,
I like to
yeah.
go outside and just
Breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Or
no
feel the cold because
Yeah.
I'm overheating. Because that's another thing we were talking about. I
Yep.
overheat when I get upset too, or if I feel sick or
Yeah.
anything. My body's
Anything.
just like on fire. It's
Yeah.
maybe it's the perimenopause. I don't know, but
Yeah, well, I
Ugh.
think this really goes into like coming up episodes. We
Oh.
have coping mechanisms.
Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh, see? Oh, perfect. Yeah. There's a lot of those that I've heard of that we've tried. So I'm
Yeah.
excited to talk about that actually.
Yeah, and I'm gonna like go back through all my therapy stuff, in the last 2 years, and I know that some have stuck with me, but there's probably others I can try, or others that just didn't work for me.
Oh,
So
I'm excited to hear that. The next one after that is our Mother's Day special, which is
Ooh.
just all about parenting, which we already were kind of talking about here with the energy, but we're talking about with everything because,
Yeah.
like I said, every episode really pertains to every episode. They all just kind of meld and mesh together really well. But
yeah, I think sometimes we give more details on things, and then other times we relate it to our lives, and so
yeah. Awesome. Well, looks like it's the time for.
So what is your chaos corner?
Well, I thought of this one because of the fact that I was thinking about my packing and moving story that I was talking about at the beginning. Well, this one involves my old house and my downstairs neighbor. Dun dun dun.
Okay.
I feel like a lot of my stories involve neighbors, but
Yeah.
this one in particular, these people below us lived below us since before we moved there, and they're
Okay.
probably still there now. In the beginning, they're so nice. They're very nice people,
Mhm.
but I feel like after about 3 years in, something happened, and then the husband was just a terror. Like,
Oh wow.
he started, because my kids jump, the autism, they
Yeah,
make a
yeah.
lot of noise. And so I did feel like, I think that was what my problem was with this whole situation was like, I validated why he was feeling how he was feeling.
Yeah.
But I was frustrated because he used to work during the day those first 3 years. And then I don't know what happened, but he stopped working completely and was home all day. And that's when we started having problems because that's when the boys are actively jumping and being loud. And they're stemming. There's nothing I can do, you know, to stop them from stemming is like telling someone not to breathe. It's not fair,
Yeah,
you
no.
know? So I'm trying like to find, because it wasn't during like late night times. It wasn't during early times. It was just during normal daytime hours. But he would get so angry that he would just start banging on the floor, banging on the bathroom pipes, playing his music so loud that it's
God.
like booming the entire apartment. And we're like a fourplex, so there's only 4 families.
Yeah.
But the other families that lived there, one was related to them, which they eventually moved out. But then the other lady, she just didn't want to cause any problems,
Yeah,
you know. So it was affecting everyone. And it was just really hard because I'm non-confrontational. And I know that this man, I don't know what he was going through.
Yeah.
But I know he was going through something very difficult in his life. And so I don't judge as much as I can, but I was still frustrated because
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe like leaving Saya to watch the boys because it happened while I was gone with Ryan. We
Right.
went out on a date for like an hour only because we never go on dates.
Yeah.
And during that time we come back and Saya's like upset because she's
Yeah.
like, he was banging and banging. I was
Yeah.
afraid he was going to come up, and I'm
Oh,
just
yeah.
like, what do we do
Well,
in this kind of a
It's
situation?
so hard to deal with aggression, and it's like if he was assertive and came up and talked to you about it.
If he
and-
could just come up and say something, but at that point, it just because I think he just didn't say anything for so long that he just exploded.
Yeah.
And so I didn't even know it was a problem. So we hadn't even been thinking
Right,
about
exactly.
it. Even though I was actively like at 9 p.m. we don't jump. We had specific hours, and
Yeah.
that works for kids with autism. They love having like a specific time frame as long
a
as
routine.
it's important. But Yeah. So in the end, I'm like, what do I do? It was a stress till the end. We never actually resolved this.
Oh,
That's the
yeah.
biggest stress about it. It's actually an unresolved thing. We just left,
Yeah.
and I thought to myself, hopefully he doesn't have neighbors next
Yeah,
that
no.
bang so that he can be happier.
Yeah, yeah.
But at the same time, hopefully he can work on whatever was going on, because there was a lot. Because you can also hear like their conversations downstairs, and so they were
Oh,
having
yeah.
a lot of issues downstairs, and so I understood exactly where his anger probably was coming
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
But I hated that it was directed at us,
Yeah.
and so I'm
No, I
like,
get
ah. So
it.
it was stressful. It was stressful, but all right. How about for you?
Oh, okay. So this kind of goes with something we were talking about. When I was working at the hotel the other day, I started feeling really sick, and I kind of wasn't recognizing the what did I say?
Oh
Recognizing the
yeah.
signs, I was sweating like, and not like I didn't really feel like it was because of heat, but I was just sweating and sweating. And my heart rate was high and I was getting
Oh no.
dizzy, and I was like, this isn't POTS, what is going on, and even though that's like the classic symptoms and
Disclaimer, it
yeah.
was.
And then so I felt bad for asking to leave. I try to push through things because I'm stubborn and I have
You are,
this
yeah, that's true.
ethic of like, I said I'd do this, so
Yeah.
I need to do this. But, I called my managers, and there was a newer girl working with me, and I was like, oh, because there were multiple teams. We were pretty much full. So I was like, that's a lot. I've worked a lot of Saturdays like that on my own. And so I felt bad, and she's like, oh, I'm fine. And then the supervisor, she said, if I need to come in for a few hours, I'll come in. And so they're like, you have to go home if you're not feeling. And I'm like, I'm sorry. And then there's nothing you can do. And they know I have a good work
Condition.
ethic.
Well,
And
and do they know that you have a condition?
I don't
of-
think so. And
Oh,
again, I
oh.
didn't know that's what well, yeah, I couldn't
You
admit
didn't
that's what it was.
suspect that at
Yeah.
first because of the fact you've gone so long
Yeah.
not feeling like you had
Right.
that happening.
Exactly. And yeah, and so then when I was driving home, like I realized that, oh, okay, I started almost vomiting. And I don't know how I didn't. Like I was like, I just need to go home. I was like willing myself to not vomit.
Oh, while
And
you're driving?
yeah.
Oh,
And then
that's the worst.
there's so much construction around that I was going a different way, and I was like, oh, I know I can take this exit. But I took the exit, and then they didn't have a way for me. That there was a
No
blocked off.
detour?
Yeah,
Oh,
so I had to go
no.
like 6 minutes out of my way, and
Oh.
I'm like, I just want to go home.
Oh, no.
And yeah, and so then I came home. I stripped off my clothes.
Oh, yeah.
TMI. But because I was so hot, we talk about that. IBS. I strip.
Yes,
it's
exactly,
like everything.
Exactly.
And so I just like plopped down on my tummy, closed my eyes, and just for a long time, I didn't sleep or anything, but I'm just like nothing. No
It's
TV,
like disassociating
Yeah.
almost, trying to get away from it.
to recharge my energy.
Yeah.
And so then I was able to sit up a little bit, and this is kind of funny, but I love pickles. And so one thing with pots, you need a lot of salt content. And so we freeze our pickle juice in popsicle things. And so when I'm
Ah.
really having an issue or am high and I've done a lot of stuff, a pickle popsicle, and I think some people should like cut it with water. I don't. I'm just like,
Why is it making my mouth water
I know.
when you're talking about it? I'm
It's
kind
so
of wanting
good.
to try that.
they're so good. And that helps, perk me up, give me some salt, and then I was getting hungry a little later, and Lucas is like, how about some ramen, which also has salt, which,
Oh, yeah, I love
you
ramen.
don't want to have too much bad things with salt, but my
How about
cardiologist.
pickles with ramen?
I haven't tried that. My cardiologist is like, oh, well, most of the time I say stay away from salt, but this, but he's like healthy salt, like, salted nuts or, and so, yeah. So after I ate the ramen, I'm starting to feel a little better. I still, for like the rest of the day, I obviously was still having POTS episode, but I'm like, yeah, that's what it was. And one of the reasons you can have a lot of heat sensitivity, like,
Oh, yeah.
so it was the 70-degree day, like less than a week after we had a
At the cold.
blizzard.
Yeah,
And so I'm sure that's what spiked it. And
that makes sense.
yeah, but yeah, I'm like, I haven't had POTS in a long time, but then it just slammed me.
Potts
So,
is like, ha ha.
I gotcha.
Gotcha now, B.
I love you. So we want to hear from you too. We want to
Yes.
hear your chaos, your energy,
Any
anything.
stories, any comments, any thoughts.
any
We want to hear it
questions?
all. Yes.
We would love to answer questions because, we talk about ourselves a lot.
Which is great. I don't mind. But
I mean, that's what the podcast is
yes,
for.
exactly.
Yeah, and you can find us lots of places. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and it's all really easy. It's Coping Chaos Podcast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and watch our TikTok.
Please. They're pretty great. I
They're
mean,
fun,
not to brag, but I'm bragging.
But we have fun doing them, and I think that's the most important.
Yeah, exactly. The joy it brings.
We both are like, oh, we look really silly. But I'm like, I keep having to remind myself, everybody on TikTok looks ridiculous.
Right, exactly.
And it's how it makes us feel. So if we don't feel comfortable, we won't share it. Anyways, that was a tangent.
Hey, I love it.
And also at Coping Chaos Podcast, we have a Patreon.
Yay.
Yeah, and we would love for you guys to join us. Again, start with the free tier. We have a chat going, started. No one's there yet.
I mean, I'll put something in there, but I need somebody to reply.
I know. So yeah, that's where we want the community. And again, we say it a lot. We don't want our community or communication to be behind the paywall. So
exactly.
Just come and chat with us. And also we have like our support tier, only $3. And then we have our highest tier that's $6, and that's where we share a lot of extra chaos corners, videos. Like we just said, maybe we'll take some pictures at the antique mall and
share our antiquing stuff, because that is one of the big things we do. A lot of that is a coping mechanism, which we will talk about. But
for sure, and then we want you to contact us. Again, the same thing, just anything, and so. We say no input is bad input, but as we talk about it, no hate.
No discrimination. We don't like that stuff.
Not at all. And, even like I said, don't talk about people's bodies or judge them in any way. And, and then that's at our email, copingchaospodcast@gmail.com.
Awesome. All right. Well, this one was a fun one. I love thinking about video games, so anything I can pertain to a video game I love.
Yeah, I like this. It's kind of different. It was a little lighter, but still serious and important.
Oh yeah, because that's part of the reason we have to plan and think about everything so hardcore is because of this energy stuff.
Yeah, it's like one of the major components.
Yeah. So
all right.
Awesome.
Well, the biggest thing we want everyone to know is that you are not alone in this. We want this to be a safe space to share our experiences as a community.
Yes. Remember, we love you guys. And we want to thank you for listening to today's episode of Coping Chaos. And as always, we will see you on our next episode.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Coping Chaos is hosted and produced by KJ Servey and Leah Williams. Audio mixed and edited by KJ Servey. Our theme song is by Lucas Servey and Leah Williams. Artwork is created by Lucas Servey. You can now follow Coping Chaos on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok at Coping Chaos Podcast. We have also started a Patreon at Coping Chaos Podcast, where you can help support us and have access to exclusive content. Please feel free to rate and review wherever you stream. Send us your questions, stories, and Chaos Corner moments to copingchaospodcast@gmail.com.